Have you ever looked at an item in a video game and thought, wow, that's an interesting item in this video game. I wonder what lore implications are encapsulated by the existence of this item? Well, I know I do. And today I have a little story for you that perfectly describes that moment of discovery and curiosity I had the other day that quickly snowballed into potentially something much deeper than I could have ever expected. Yesterday, I was in Port Sarim, exploring the local bars in Asgarnia for the next episode in my Greatest Bar in Gielinor series. I was speculating that this particular bar may have been using the house just north of the manhole to prepare and cook the stew they serve at the bar, as there's a cooking range inside. But that's not all this mysterious house was hiding from me, as I found its very existence rather odd. You see, typically when you find a house of ambiguous ownership in the game, it is particularly uninteresting and out of the way, and very obviously unowned by any named NPCs. Let's just take this house north of Blue Moon Inn in Varrock, for example. On the first floor, we have a cooking range, a table with 2 chairs, a cabbage patch out back, and other various uninteresting decorations spread all over the walls. Moving upstairs, there are 3 beds and a couple more tables, a dresser, and a few more decorations. No NPCs, nothing out of place, just a perfectly mundane set piece for world building. Now, let's go back to the house in Port Sarim and take a closer look. On the first floor, we have a table, a cooking range, and a polling booth. Well, hold on. Why would a random house in Port Sarim have a polling booth? From what I understand, polling booths are typically found within the banks of RuneScape or within a general store. So how uncommon is it to find a polling booth outside a bank or general store? Well, I managed to sort all of the polling booths in-game by whether or not they were located in or very near a bank, bank chest, bank deposit box, banknote exchange merchant, or a general store. And I found that only 7.3% of all polling booths in Gielinor are not located near any of these, or just 6 out of 82 total polling booths in the game. Now, obviously, this isn't particularly that rare to see, but it was the catalyst that piqued my interest into this strange house and caused me to dive deeper. Why this house? It might be easy to say that Port Sarim deserves a polling booth due to the large number of travelers coming and going by sea. But if that's the case, why put it in someone's house? There's a bank deposit box on the dock by the Entrana monks. Wouldn't it make more sense for the polling booth to be by that instead? Furthermore, who owns this house anyways? If you look inside, you'll typically find an unnamed man and woman roaming the interior of the house. Their spawn points are physically located inside the house, so it's not like they just happen to wander in all the time. The game says that they belong here. Do they own this house? If so, how could such a significant piece of real estate holding one of the 82 polling booths in all of Gielinor be owned by 2 NPCs so insignificant that they don't even have a name? I was confused, yet intrigued by this anomalous house, and this next discovery I made may very well have had the potential to turn the lore of RuneScape on its face. You see, when you go upstairs in this house, at first glance, there doesn't seem to be too much out of place. We have a bed, a table, a dresser, and some paintings. These don't seem to be just paintings, however. The first one depicts what seems to be a person or elf in a field holding a bow. That doesn't seem too important, but when examined, the game states a mysterious figure stands alone in this haunting image. What a curious way to describe an otherwise mundane-looking painting. Let's look at the next one. It seems to depict a snowy mountain, and when examined it says, a beautiful landscape. It sure is. Let's inspect the final painting. Well now, that looks an awful lot like King Rold, the ruler of Misthalin. But wait a second. Port Sarim is located in Asgarnia. So why would a homeowner in Asgarnia display a painting of the wrong king? Let's see what the game has to say. When examined, it states, a painting of the king looking royal. The king! Based on the context of the examined text here, it sounds like they're trying to say this is supposed to depict the king of Asgarnia, as why would somebody outside the kingdom of Misthalin address King Rold as the king? I suppose the argument could be made that this painting may not be a depiction of King Rold at all, as the ruler of Misthalin's crown has a large red jewel set in the middle of the front face, and the front spike of King Rold's crown appears to have a large protrusion that is missing in this painting. We also see that the figure in this painting is wearing a different shirt to King Rold, and is clean-shaven as opposed to the Misthalin king's beard. The painting can't be a depiction of the current de facto ruler Sir Amik Vars either, as he wears a slim white tiara and also has a beard, while the painting depicts a large golden crown adorned with spikes. Just like the spiky crown shown in the silhouette for King Valence, as depicted on the RuneScape website according to the wiki. If that's the case, and this is supposed to be a painting of the King of Asgarnia, then this is the first time anyone has ever seen a visual depiction of his likeness, and the wiki lists King Valence, the official ruler of Asgarnia, as one of the few unseen rulers in the game. Have I just uncovered a massive clue placed by the developers unseen by anybody in the last 20 years? At this point, my head started to spin. I was only supposed to make a video on the bars of Asgarnia, and yet I discovered this painting, a potential breakthrough in the lore of RuneScape. I had to keep it together, so I decided to record all of the information and move on with the bar exploration, and I would come back to this loaded mystery. My next stop was the Rising Sun Inn, located just north of the Falador Castle within its city limits. What a relief. A normal bar in a large town. So I got to work in analyzing the bar. The first floor had seen better days, but after gathering all the information I needed, I decided to head upstairs. In front of me were more wooden tables, wooden chairs, walls adorned with swords and shields, and a couple paintings. No, it can't be. The same two paintings from the strange house in Port Sarim. How is it possible? What are the chances? I quickly examined the paintings to see if the text had changed, and it did. The first painting says, "A pretty good painting." Nothing too revealing here, so I checked the other one. A really bad portrait of the king. The king! We now have two instances of this painting within the confines of Asgarnia where the game claims it to be of the king. This can't be a coincidence anymore. I genuinely believe that the developers might have managed to sneak this clue into this game all these years ago, just waiting for someone to uncover the true depiction of King Valence for the first time by context clues alone. I'm not too surprised nobody's found this before either, as it's not like these paintings are front and center. No, both instances are completely out of the way, upstairs in insignificant buildings for seemingly no reason at all. Or perhaps there is a reason. To keep this secret just out of sight, enough for it to remain unseen, just waiting for someone to connect the dots and discover something truly special. I couldn't help myself. I had to know for certain. I took to the internet and I searched to see if anybody else had discovered this anomaly. And I found something. A post on Reddit from 5 years ago by a user with the name Anando. Anyways, where they simply ask the question, whose portrait is this? Jackpot. I took to the comments. If it's in Rimington, it may be the unseen King of Falador, since if I'm not mistaken, Rimington is in the Falador Kingdom. Asgarnia. Let's check another. This is actually the picture they use for the King Valence on the old school RuneScape wiki. What? No, it most certainly is not. The only picture that we have is this silhouette. Maybe somebody changed it. Maybe somebody discovered that this portrait is, Oh no. Oh god. Well, That polling booth is still kind of weird though, right?